I'm live now. I don't know how many people I got waiting or in the room, but live chat. I had to fix my screen, man. I had to do the auto rotate because sometimes when I film these videos, I don't like the way the screen is. So I finally got this down, but I just got to look at the comments now. I don't know if the comments are gonna still show up as they do on the regular videos or not, but I'm late, but I'm ready to be great. You know what? Let me see if I can get on here on my other phone and I can read the comments from here. That might work. But anybody that's watching right now, y'all know how I do. I'm doing a live about freeform locks. Any questions about freeform locks and anything in between? I'm trying to log on to see if I can read the comments from my other phone. So if I don't see you guys' comments right away, my bad. Oh damn. All right. I gotta get a laptop, man. Okay, I see a comment. Rude Boy Natty, what's up, man? What's goody? What's goody? Okay, now I can read the. Oh, all right, now I can read the comments. Truths for Life, what's up? Roka said Black Friday coming up. Laptops about to cost peanuts. Yeah, I was actually looking at that today, man. I definitely got to get me one, man. Catch me a laptop so I can do start getting into the reviews and whatnot. I know people looking for that from me. And just have just so I ain't got to go through all of this. Just uploaded my first comments probably. Just uploaded my first review in 2 years of having my dreads. Okay, I'm gonna check you out. I always check folks out who tell me they they uploaded their first video. I like to watch other people's locks too. Your dreads are dope, bro. I appreciate it, man. Trying to keep them up, trying to have them as long as possible. Actually, my mom asked me probably like 2 weeks ago. She was like, she sees my hair sometimes, and when she was around me, she's like, I guess amazed by how long I let my hair get, and she's like, how long are you gonna grow your hair? She asked me how long I'm gonna grow my hair, and I tell her all the time, same way I tell my subscribers, man. As long as I have hair, I plan to let it grow. So, I just appreciate it, man. Some people can't grow hair. Some people want hair and they can't, So I'm just appreciating it for the moment, however long it is, That's how my mom. I'm dead serious. That's how it is, man. Like my mom's not usually seeing me with long hair like this. So, and now listen, we from deep down south, and you don't see this too often down here. I've never. Just let me think before I say that. To my recollection, I've never seen anybody from my area with dreadlocks like this. So I've seen people with somewhat long dreadlocks, maybe like back length, but I don't see this around here. So it's a shock to people sometimes. I don't say a shock, but it's surprising. 'Cause I don't think my family's shocked anymore. They're used to it now. It's been 8 years, so you know, but they're still, sometimes they probably still look at it because, you know, people notice the growth when you don't. So they'll see that my hair got longer. It's like to my back now, a little bit past my back. Um, so, you know, they're like, how long you gonna let it grow? So, it's just different, and people are weird with different things. Let them hit the floor. Yeah, hey, I hope so, man. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm shooting for. Um, a person asked me, I don't know if they're gonna see this live video, probably not. I don't know, but um, they asked me. I don't know. I don't know. I can't really explain how they were trying to word the question, but I think they were asking me like, how does my hairline stay intact? Like, am I getting edged up? You know, like how does it look like I got edged up? And it's just, I mean, my hair just don't. It's just how it is. You know, I mean, I don't see. I don't edge myself up. I got this little part right here. So like when I sometimes when I'm like after I wash my hair and I oil my scalp, I just always part it. So this is kind of parting right here. So, but other than that, I don't. I just told them I edged the back up. You know, like the wild hairs in the back. And other than that, that's it, man. It just looks like I have a hairline. You know? So. Ask anything tonight, taking all questions. I actually would have been on time at 6:30, but I had to set up. Yeah, I used to cut my hair, but I decided to stop and grow it all out. Um, yeah, I mean, I remember the feeling of. Actually, I think I told the story a lot of times, but I was in a hospital when I decided that I'm gonna the size of that, get my own little style. Yeah, man, do your own thing, man. Hey, when I decided on the moment, it was just a. I always tell people it wasn't a. Hey, I'm gonna start freeforming, growing my hair on this day. I was in a hospital and I was just like, man, I ain't cutting my hair no more. I did. I just, you know what I mean, I didn't do it. So ever since then, it's been growing, man. But yeah, man, it's nice to. I like having my own style. You know, I like having a unique set of dreadlocks, unique to me, that fits my personality. So, you know. Well, I've read that one already. I don't want to just sit here and stare at the screen, so I probably should come up with a topic. I have new dreadlocks. Oh, there's a question. Debating on separating a few Congos. The separation thing is always yeah, I started from a man bun. Yeah, the separation is always a dilemma for people who trying to grow their hair like this. They were started in jail. Hey man, you know, you got to start somewhere, you know. But uh, separating, you know, a lot of people. Hey man, I said on the video. Actually, it was that Yanni video where I was talking about Yanni the lockologist, and somebody came under my comments going ham on me, reprimanding me, and she didn't understand the video. But I was saying in the video, man, that if you're trying to grow your hair like this, I understand it. And a lot of times people are real bullheaded about it. And they, I always say, like, at the end of the day, you have a vision of how you want your hair to look, right? How you want yourself to look. So, you know, if you just simply want Congo, I mean, you want to separate because you don't want certain Congos, or you don't want your hair to, mat up a certain way, then hey, fine. I don't think that you should be unhappy with the way your hair is simply because you're trying to, not saying that you're trying to do that, sir, who said that, but a lot of people do fall into that category of trying to, they want to do it just because they want to be as close to that title Freeform as possible. And it's not that serious, man. But I always say that also Freeforming is also a mindset as well as it's just a way of growing your hair. So, some people just don't have the mindset, you know what I mean? And it's okay, it's, ain't nothing wrong with separating. Okay, day-to-day motivation. Welcome to the video chat. I was separating at first, but I feel like your hair just really gonna do what it do once regardless. The ones I separated end up back together. You guys know that I had a video called Separating Congos. I don't know if you guys seen that video, but that was probably like 2-3 years ago. Where that's how this lock actually, the back lock, it was like way back here, man, like way back here. Now you can see it's like to the side, right? And it's pretty much one lock with this one now, right? But what I did was separate them so I can get to my scalp when I'm either washing it or moisturizing it, whatever I'm using, right? So it was a bit hard to get there, and I split the like webbing of my hair now, but you can see it's like it comes right back. It did make my hair fall a little bit, but it's just gonna, that's gonna happen. Like you can cut them, and because you're washing your hair and it's tangling, it's gonna go right back. Yo, Johnny, what's good? Long time. What's up, BNT Chef, man? I'm 6 months. D said I'm 6 months in. Is it normal if I keep touching my hair and looking at it? It's so hard. I'd be happy. I mean, hey, man, you appreciate your hair. You got hand and hair syndrome. I mean, that ain't gonna. You just admiring it. It's something. It's a sight to see, man. Like like if people go back and see, it's like looking at a caterpillar and a butterfly. I mean, it's like, how did this come from this? How did this come from that? So you looking at it, and you're kind of enamored by it. Like, man, like my hair is forming. You seeing these changes and whatnot. So I mean, putting your hands in your hair all the time. I mean, it's really not gonna, unless it ain't really gonna deter nothing or mess nothing up or change it. A lot of OGs have been doing the big chop recently. Any thoughts crossing your mind? Hopefully not. No, man. I don't know who's been chopping it off, but it happens. People on YouTube or social media, they start cutting their hair. People just ready to change how they look. For whatever reasons. Me personally, I don't tell you that. Well, you've been watching me long enough. I always tell people just keep watching me, because I can tell you, hey, I'm never gonna chop my hair off. I don't know how much my word holds to you, because I can say that, and I'm sure a lot of those people who have chopped their hair off feel like, or have said that I'm never chopping it off and I'm gonna keep it forever. But then you never know what you're gonna do. So I always tell people just keep watching me. If I can help it, I've always said this. Unless there's a sickness or something that's out of my control where I have to lose my locks or cut my locks, and hopefully that doesn't happen, but it's life. But other than that, I'm probably not going to cut my hair for a reason. I mean, I don't, it's just me. It's just part of how I am. I'm not putting on a show. It's hard to just act like my hair is not on my head. Forever Lock. Hey Johnny, do you think you want to cut them off? No, I don't think I want to cut my hair off. I don't because, like I said, I think, and I don't want to say this because it's gonna sound like I'm like calling somebody out. I think that sometimes, I'm not saying anybody specifically, because I don't know who you guys are talking about that's been cutting their hair off. Sometimes when you start doing this social media stuff, a lot of people catch on to like, okay, if it could be freeform locks, it could be whatever. If I do this certain thing, this certain thing brings me more attention than I've ever had in my life. And then you get something, you get a following or whatever, and then it's like, okay, well, you got that following, and it's like, what now? So people, you got the following, you just cut it off. So what's your favorite stage in, wait a minute, I'm skipping questions. Operation Devastation. Are they heavy? Now I get that a lot. Man, I do not feel my hair. The only time I do feel my hair is when it's wet. Man, that's normal. It's locks. You're gonna feel it when it's wet. I've never felt like my hair was heavy. My locks are like, my locks are the size of my wrist. You can see they're wrist thick locks. I don't have a problem with them being heavy. I don't know. Hey, maybe when they get to my waist or something, they may feel heavy. I don't know. But I think personally, if my hair feels heavy, I think that's what Tams are for. There's ways that you can alleviate that. Like you can put your hair up in a tam and it takes the weight off. But that's just me. What's your favorite stage in freeform journey? Oh man, that's a good question. My favorite stage in the freeform journey. Man, I would say that's tough. I would say probably that 2 to 3 year mark. Because thinking back on it, like my hair, like just thinking about, because I think about before that mark, how my hair looked during and after. So before that, I was like, man, I didn't know how my hair was going to form. So, and during it, I was like, okay, my hair has split off into 3 dreadlocks, and it was amazing to see that it transformed from there. And then looking back at it after, it's like, yo, how did I get from that to having 1 lock in the back to having like now this lock merged with 1 lock on the side. Now it basically only have like, well, you want to count these, I have like 4 locks now. So I would say probably that 2 to 3 year mark. Bongo, I know even if you go bald, there's still no need to cut, in my opinion. Hey, you one of them fellas that's gonna hold on to it to the very end? I can't do that. I'm gonna let it go, man. I'm gonna go ahead on and go bald, man, and embrace the bald look, man. Straight Gate Trade, what up, my guy? Johnny, my guy. Before slide again, been a long time since I've caught a live. Yeah, man. I enjoy seeing people come back to catch lives. I know certain people by their names now, so I'm coming up on my 2-year freeform. I'm loving all the crazy changes that have happened in the last 6 months. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you for watching. But yeah, that 6 months, like I always tell people, if you start to growing, like, bro, every 6 months you gonna start see. That's when you gonna see changes. About every 6 months, and it's gonna be subtle stuff. You know what I mean? That's what's great about it. Why people don't understand freeform? People be like, how you do that? I don't know. I mean, I guess. Because you don't see it too often, you know what I mean? And it's like, sometimes, you just ask yourself, like, how did my hair get like that? How did my hair go from this stage to that stage? Somebody says, say his name, Zaylock so loud. So that's who cut their hair. I mean, listen, man, I've seen the young man mentioned a few times. Matter of fact, somebody told me I think it was maybe my last live or a couple lives ago, uh, someone asked me about, somebody said that he trimmed his hair. And when I heard that, it's just what it is. But usually when people trim their hair or start coloring it and start trying to do something different, usually that's usually what happens after. They're usually gonna cut it. That's okay. So now it adds up. That's why people was asking me, am I having thoughts about cutting my hair now? Okay, it just clicked. But nah, man, I don't have any thoughts about cutting my hair. I don't think about my hair like that, honestly. Do I need to oil in my freeform journey? You didn't know, Day Day say you didn't know he cut, huh? Nah, I didn't, man. I didn't know he cut it. But like I said, it makes sense because somebody said that a couple months ago that he trimmed his hair. That's what usually happens when somebody trims their hair. They're usually going to cut it soon after, because, I mean, I don't know how, like, he's been growing for like what, since 2010ish. So that's a long time either way. You know what I mean? I think it's been over 5 years, right? So if somebody who's had locks that long, if they alter it drastically, then they're probably gonna, they're probably heading towards cutting it. Oh, do I need to? Oh, let me ask you a question first before I get to the other questions. Do I need to oil in my freeform journey? I don't know if there's something that you need to do. That's oiling your scalp or not. That's specific to you. Some people don't need oil. Some people do. I mean, you have to know your own scalp, read it, and see if you need to or not. But you don't need to, just because if you have dry scalp. First of all, if you have dry scalp, you should find out what's causing it first. Get to the root of the problem first before you just go slapping oils on there. If you may have a dandruff problem, I mean, there's a shampoo for it or whatever. But some people do need to oil their scalp. Just it's specific to you. You just got to find out. Do you think, Rude Boy Natty, do you think it's unnecessary to crochet blunt round tips? Wait a minute. For drainage? Do I think it's unnecessary to crochet blunt round tips for drainage? By drainage, I think you mean by like when you wash your hair in the water running down it. Um, no, I mean, I don't think that crocheting is needed to drain it. You need to get the excess water out. Um, you can squeeze them. You can shake your hair. I mean, I don't shake my dreadlocks this time. I ain't got time to be getting slapped in the face by, big dreadlocks. So I don't really, and plus I ain't got time to give myself a headache. So I just bang them against something. Just get the excess water out. Once you get the excess water out, you're good. Drying is a breeze. How would you recommend better ways to wash scalp? Um, an applicator bottle helps, so you can get it directly onto the scalp. Um, Washing your, like, do that first application of shampoo, massage it in really good, and then wash your beard, shower, or whatever. Just let the shampoo sit for a little bit, then rinse it out and follow with a second wash if you feel like if that's what's needed. But mostly just make sure you're getting the shampoo on your scalp. Somebody say 10 years, 10 years, 10 years. Oh, the guy, 10 years. Okay, 10 years. All right. What you think about twisted locks? I think they're for girls. um, I appreciate all locks. I do. I appreciate all locks. I wouldn't have twisted locks because that's just not that I don't like them. It's just not me. It's not my, like, take a moment for right now. Just 3 seconds. and picture me with twisted locks. You know, so it's just not my thing. I can't. But a lot of fellas, you know, they can pull it off. You know, I've actually heard women say that they, you know, when they see dreadlocks like this, it gives off a more masculine, you know, vibe. You know, but you know, everybody got what they like. You know, I don't knock it. It's just not for me personally. For the water. I blow dry mine. I just seen someone do it. Yeah, if I like wash my hair really late, like I don't like to wash my hair past 3 o'clock. You know, because it takes a, you know, the sun is not out as much, and so sometimes that's been a couple of times since I've had dreadlocks where I had to, you know, go in with the blow dryer to, you know, make sure it's good. So. Borisov. Your dreadlocks look awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. I think washing in sink if you're trying to focus on your on just your locks. I've never washed my hair in the well. Yeah, I've never technically washed my hair in the sink. Only thing I do in the sink is ACV rinses. Now the water hose is what I do. But I mean, honestly, the water hose, like, I don't have a problem rinsing my scalp off in the shower. Like, that's easy. Now, as far as getting the excess shampoo out, like, that's what I use the water hose for, like the actual locks themselves. So, I hate going to sleep with damp hair. It sucks, so I won't wash it past 3 p.m. Yeah, it's not good to go to sleep with damp hair. Cause like, even though your hair is not dirty, it gets that wet smell, and it's like, nah, I can't rock with it. Now I do go to sleep with like very semi wet hair. What I'll do is I'll turn the fan on and like throw my locks back, and I'll sleep with my hair towards the fan, and I'll wake up in the morning, my hair is completely dry, no smell, nothing like that. So Day Motivation says, when you're out, do people ask you about your hair a lot? I wouldn't say a lot. Um, it depends where I'm at, how I have my hair. Sometimes I'll have my hair back in one of these rubber bands. I showed you guys that before. One of these super thick rubber bands. And you know, so that's people don't really see it sometimes. But you know, a lot of times when I like wear it out, like just, you know, just letting it be out. You know, I'll have somebody stop me and ask me. I've had a lot of comments, you know, coming out. And one time I was at a store, and this guy, man, he walked up right behind me, like he was like real close, and like I turned around and he was like, hey man, like he was like, that's a lot of hair. How long you been growing it? Bless up. What's up, man? What's up? And so, you know, people will ask about it, and people will ask, you know, I've only had one person ask to touch it, and I actually let him touch it. When we talked about my hair. But yeah, it depends on how my hair is. Like, you know, if I wear it out, then people will ask about it. Daquan's World, what up though? What up, my boy? So staying at it for life. That's the goal, man. I don't plan on cutting my hair on my own free will. Well, take that back. Unless there's a reason I have to. But just because I'm like, hey, whatever reason, insert whatever reason people use, I'm not going to. I'm not going to come out because of that. Lifelong lifestyle. I don't know why, but I like flat dreads. How long it takes to grow your beard this length? You know what, man? My beard's not actually that long. My beard is thick. Like, bro, I've been growing my beard for a long time. Like, my beard should be like here. But listen, everybody's hair is not the same. Even the beard. So, I have a slow growing beard. It's like been this length for like a while. I do trim it a bit, trim it like the straggly ends and stuff. But other than that, it's just thick, like it's super thick. But I've been growing it for like probably about as long as I've been growing my dreadlocks for real. Straight Gate Trey says, definitely don't want to sleep on a damp pad. During the summer, I hit the highway with all the windows down, quick dry, and just be outside. Now in these cooler months, straight blow dry action. Hate it. Ditto. The elderly love to ask to touch my hair. You know, I was in the hospital, like not me personally was in the hospital, but I was in the hospital, in the hospital building. And I was on the elevator with this lady, older lady. And she said, how long you been growing your hair like that? So I told her. And she was like, man, she was like, they're gonna look real nice if you ever get them twisted. She's like, they're gonna look real nice when you get them twisted. So, that's how the older people, look at them like, what are you doing? Because they never really seen a lot. Well, it depends on the area that you're from as well. Especially down south, most older people have never seen dreadlocks like this. So, so that's I get comments like that, or older people, who say stuff like that. Man, all I got is sideburns. Hey, man, all I had at one point was sideburns. Oh, you know what? You're talking about the beard. Um, I've been having facial hair since like junior high, and even before junior high. Actually, I had started growing a mustache at like 11. So, um, yeah, you got a baby face, man. Appreciate it. I always get, oh, you have locks, so you twist them. Yeah, sometimes people ask me if I'm ever gonna twist my hair. It's like, um, one of my mom's friends, she was actually staring at me recently too. I went over by my mom and she was there. She was just staring at me, like just staring at me. And I've never seen her stare at me like that before. But I know one time a few years ago, she asked me when I was gonna get them twisted. Why don't you get them twisted? I'm just like, and I was telling her that these are a certain type of dreadlocks, and I'm not gonna be getting them twisted. The elderly run uptown and say, we don't do that. My interpretation, we ain't free. I had a dude, I don't know, tell me at work, like, yeah, bro, it's time for a retwist. He was cool though, once he realized what I was doing. Giovanni Mario, hey Johnny, what's up, my man? Facials at 11, you was putting super glue on your face, man. I wasn't doing nothing, man. I just, genetics, man. I just had hair at an early age, man. Now I started growing a beard. I started growing like a beard in junior high, and I didn't know until my pops told me. But when I had started growing the facial hair, and I wanted to get it lined up or whatever, and I wanted to do something with it, and I shaved one day, dry faced, and man, I'm talking about I broke out with bumps everywhere. It was bad, man. Razor bumps everywhere, and my pops had to tell me like, nah, you don't shave like that. So now some people can dry shave. When I was in the military, people was like dry shaving and not having nothing, but especially when you're a black person, like as you got coily hair, when it happens when you shave, when the hair starts to growing back, it's like, hair is hard, and it starts to grow in back into the skin. Sometimes that's how you get ingrown hairs. So it's not good to shave with a dry face for a lot of us. Recently, folks have been asking. Oh, okay. Recently, folks have been asking to take pictures with me because of my locks. Yeah, I've had. I've only had actually the same guy who asked to touch my hair that day. He asked for a picture. I still have that picture as well. It caught me off guard at first, but I don't mind now. I have a mustache, sideburns, but not a full beard. I hope I will have because I like this look with full beard. You look so natural. Never cut. It's funny people don't know what freeforms are. They end up, excuse me, they end up telling you that they will look super dope if you get it maintained. No, bruh, I want it natty. Yeah, you have people who tell you like, why don't you get it twisted? Why have it like, what are you doing? And it's at this stage, people. I think people now, and as I grow, people will be enamored more with my hair being long and like this more so than they are with the formation of my hair. Like right now, it's starting to get it's pretty at a pretty good length. So people look at it and they be like, "That's a lot of hair. How did you get it like that?" Sometimes people. I remember this one guy, this young guy, he used to stop me at Walmart, and he would ask me, he would ask me about freeform locks or whatever. Or I sometimes I have random people stop me or whatever. It depends on, like I said, depends on where I'm at, how I have my hair out. Picked up a new chocolate brown tam today. That's what's up. Uh, hey Johnny, man, your dreads looking nice and healthy. Much respect to you. Thank you, Nellyville. I appreciate it, my man. Starting to let my beard lock up. The biggest struggle for me is mustache growing over my lips. So I'm still trimming that. Do you maintain your beard? I do a trim probably once every probably year or two, where like you see the little straggly ends right here. And I do that because sometimes people say if you like cut the split ends and stuff like that, it will help the beard grow. But I think I've come to the realization that my beard just hit a plateau, and it's gonna always be more thick than it is long. So even though I want a beard to my chest, it might not happen for me. So I'm just gonna let it grow, and I have to accept my beard how my beard is. But other than that, that's the only maintenance I do to it. I just trim it every couple of years. You ever had an issue with a job with your hair? My first set I did, the guy who was who was in charge of that section, he kept asking me, hey man, are you gonna, it was welding, so he was like, what are you gonna do with your hair? And my hair wasn't even that long at that time. But the people who were over him, who were higher than him, they had no problem with it. So one day what he did was told me that, well, he pulled me and another guy to the side. Actually, that guy that he pulled to the side with me was actually very bad at the job. Like, he didn't know what he was doing. And he pulled us to the side. He was like, hey, man, we're going to have to let y'all go, because, whatever. And so I was driving one day, and I seen that guy. And he was like, yo, man, I seen him with the company shirt on. I'm like, yo, you still work there? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh. So it clicked to me what they had did. He pulled us to the side and like he was going to get rid of both of us. But what he did was double back, told the guy, come back and let me go. So yeah, that was the issue I had at a job. Do you deal with lint? I think that lint is inevitable with dreadlocks, man. No matter what type of dreadlocks you have, what you want to do is not be a lint magnet. What you want to do is not like just freely have lint. You're gonna get lint in your dreadlocks because of the clothing you put on, maybe because of the things that you sleep on. So you're gonna get that, man. What you want to do is not have a crazy amount of lint. I have lint in my hair. I'm pretty sure. I've been growing my hair dreadlocks for 8 years, so I have lint in my hair. You probably can Let me see if I can find some. Can't really see any right now. Let me see. Now I did wash it today, so I mean, but I have lint. You know what I mean? It's just you just want to keep it down to a minimum, man, as much as you can. You don't want to have a bunch of visible lint in your hair. I honestly feel like my mom's wife got dreads just for that reason. Felt like she was trying to compete with my locks, or older generation just don't understand freeform. I don't like the twist neat look. That's interesting. Never heard anybody say that before, but I mean, you know that person better than I would. So maybe, hey, maybe that is a reason that that person got locks. I think for me, it's just that I just live down south, so I mean, you don't, like I said earlier in the video, you don't really see this too much. So how do you deal with the issue how do you deal with the itchy scalp, or do you just let it go? When my scalp starts to itch, I know that either it's probably time for me to wash my hair. And I'll wash my hair and then it'll alleviate it. Like I said, I told somebody earlier, see if you can get to the root of the problem, as far as that goes, so you can, better handle it going forward. But when I have itchy scalp, I know that's signaling for me it's time for a wash. So, I'll wash my hair, and I try not to over oil your hair, your scalp, because a lot of times what people do is they oil their scalp and they don't massage it in enough. So what happens is, on top of the oil that your scalp is producing, the sebum, you have this other oil sitting there. So it creates a lot of oil, and it's just sitting on your scalp, so it can make your scalp itch. So that's, try not to over moisturize, over oil your scalp, and make sure you get it in correctly. Get it in on your scalp correctly. Wow, that's crazy. Linen dust is in the air everywhere you go. Yes. Thriller with the beanstalks, my guy. What up? Hey man, I like Thriller, man. I like it. He got a good channel, he got a Wick channel. You know what I'm saying? He's got a lot of knowledge on Wicks. It's just one of them channels. He's a genuine dude, man. I like people who ain't I like to watch channels who ain't trying to sell you anything. And I'm not talking about a product only, but I mean he ain't trying to sell you nothing like it's like sell you an image. You feel what I'm saying? He is who he is. So I like watching channels like that, man. Good guy. So I can just make a positive and say I motivated her to join the Lock Nation. Hey, that's that. There you go. You and Thriller both be dropping gems. I try, man. I try to just, what music do you like? Man, I like all kinds of music. I like Rainbow Kitten Surprise. They have a song called Free Fall. They have a song called Devil Like Me. Seven. I like Bon Jovi. Man, I listen to all kinds of stuff, man. I like this band called Wild Child. I think that might be the name of the song, not the band. I like American authors, but you might catch me listening to some Plies, some old Plies, some old Wayne, the mixtape Wayne. You might catch me listening to, I'm from New Orleans, so there's a lot of Louisiana music I listen to. I listen to a bit of everything, man. Jay-Z, you name it, I probably listen to it. I don't like country, but I listen to a lot of stuff. I had a talk with a pre-dreaded folk, and he told me people will just hate you together with your looks. Even your face will be so unpleasant to them, all because you have locks on your head. Yeah, some people just don't like locks, man. Especially these types of locks. Really, really, like, some people just don't like locks in general, right? Some people just don't. Some people have a really big disdain for these types of locks and wigs. Um, it's just that's just how it is, man. So I don't really get too caught up on that. But yes, there will be people who just don't like you because you have, a certain type of locks. They think that you look disgusting. They think that you're unclean. They think that you're a thug. Think you're involved in some type of crime and all of these things. But I just focus on the people who like it, man. That's all I can do, man. If you don't like it, then hey, that's your point. That's your prerogative. As long as you don't disrespect me, hey, that's your thing, man. Also, that's why I got my lock channel, because a lot of times people don't like it and they spread misinformation about it. So I give you the correct information. Now, if you still don't like it and you still want to do that after receiving that correct information, then there's nothing I can do about that. But at least you have the correct information now. Shout out to all in the chat. Lil Wayne is definitely a living legend. Let me see if I missed any questions. Daily motivation. I feel like that's why locks are dope. If somebody don't like it because your hair, show you where they stand. Yeah, and that's all you can do, man. You're gonna have people that's not gonna like a lot of things about you, man. So, especially with hair, hair is a big thing, man. People think that it's just hair, and sometimes I even say it's just hair, but at the same time, it's not, man. It's like one of the first things that people notice about you, and they also, as soon as they notice that about you, they make this judgment about you. So, your hair, maybe the way you're dressed, the beard, I'm pretty sure people make a lot of presumptions about me, so it's one of them things, man. I come from an African family, and that doesn't improve, but they leave me alone, except for my mother. She speaks her mind. African moms do not mess around. They definitely speak their minds. So African moms and Caribbean moms, where respect is a major key in the end. Absolutely. Absolutely. Been on here for 47 minutes. I think I'm gonna go about an hour. Conversation been flowing, so I think I'll go about an hour and hop off. Moms don't play about that hair. I couldn't grow my hair out until I graduated high school. Yeah, I wonder, how old are you, Daquan's World? Hey, Thrill, I appreciate the chat, the super chat, my guy. Because I think, like, I'm thinking, like, now, like, I wonder how it would have been if I tried to do this when I was 17, 15, 16, you're 31. Okay, so you're 4 years younger than me. So we're kind of in the same, it's kind of sort of in the same age range. I wonder what it would have been like had I tried this as a kid. These kids today, you know, they got the other freeform dreads. They got the freeform dreads. That's the other stuff. And I call it the other stuff because it's different. Like when I see YouTube stuff and I see these recommendations, and these young kids are like 8 years old, and they're in their video with their parents' phone. Well, nah, I can't say their parents' phone, probably their phones. And they're making these videos, and they have, they got the little freeform locks going. I'm like, man, it's different. You know what I mean? So, I just wonder how it would have been for me had I tried that back in those days. Or any of us, who are around this age range. Have you always wanted dreads before you have them? I would say yes, from a very young age. And I would see people. Like I said, I always got my inspiration from guys from Florida. Because I don't want to say everybody's from Florida, but for the most part, a lot of the guys who I saw was from Florida. I would see them wherever, whether it be on TV, whether it be in person or whatever, wherever. And I would see how they had their dreads, and I would say, man, I want dreads like that. So that was my my first. And Ricky Williams, I have this picture. you can't guys can't see it, but Ricky Williams was it's my favorite, one of my favorite athletes. Him and Kevin Garnett. And so when I found out about Ricky Williams and like how he had his dreadlocks, and I was like, I wanted dreadlocks, and obviously I would see Bob Marley, and I would see all types of other people, and I would, you know, that would make me like be pulled to it. So, and I always knew, even though I saw mostly the other types of dreadlocks, I never was drawn to that. I never said, hey, I want twisted dreadlocks. I just never, you know, I never said I don't like them. I just never was drawn to. I was always drawn to more of the thick dreadlocks, and so that's what made me always want them. Like from the very first moment that I seen them, I didn't say ew, or I was just like staring, like wow, like man, yo, that's whatever that is on their head, that's dope, you know. So, does this channel include your chess challenges, or is it strictly for the freeform journey? I haven't. I have talked about chess on here, but I haven't made a video specifically centered around chess. No, I haven't. I usually just stick to the freeform here. But you know, I'm very passionate about chess, and it's like videos like this when I'm doing a live, people ask me about chess, and we'll talk about chess or whatever. But I usually just strictly do keep this to freeform. But I'm not opposed to, you know, maybe talking about chess one day if I can, you know, get it, if I can intertwine it with the topic. Most people can't find the beauty of natural look. They are living in a mainstream bubble, and they think that men should look the same. Yes, people do have this thing of for how they feel that men should have their hair, or how men should look, and you know, if you don't look this way, then you must be dirty, or you must be lazy, you must not care about something, you know. So, you know, like I said, society has always been like, honestly, it's always been like this, but since we can remember, wrong is right, right is wrong. Yeah, the parents are more accepting of it these days. I started off with twisted. It was terrible having your scalp out. I wash it the same day. Yeah, I just couldn't imagine it, man. Like I said, I don't. The people who rock it, I appreciate it. You know, just because I like all dreadlocks. I like all locks, and it's just not for me. My mom was happy as heck because she didn't have to get up and do my hair for school. When I was little, I told myself I couldn't ever see myself having natty dreads. I thought I would never want them. Huh. But listen, as you grow up, man, there's a lot of things that we, you know, when we were younger, we feel like we would never do. It was just not for us. But as you go through experiences and get more knowledge, get more information, more experiences, yeah, your thought process on things is going to change. Would you have chosen any other form of hairstyle in reflection, Miss Hunt? No, because I just actually just finished talking about this. I just couldn't see myself with another form of locks. Not even semi freeform. They call it semi freeform. I couldn't even see myself with that. Not that I don't like it. It's not that I don't like it. I just couldn't see myself with it. I like it, you know what I'm saying? Like kind of like what people say with freeforms. I wouldn't do it, but I like it on you. I think freeform dread looks better than maintained dreads. Most people don't get certain stuff or be a certain way because they're focused on what other people think or how they feel about it. You gotta love you and be you at all times. Yes, because you know I said this on that Jay-Z video. People are gonna talk about you no matter how much money you have. You know, Jay-Z got a lot of money, a lot of disposable money, and J. Cole is well off as well, and people still talk about them. So it's not about, you know, you just have to do you at the end of the day, man, because you have to do stuff for you. Because if you go along with what people think or what, you know, how you think people will feel about you. It's gonna always be somebody that don't like you. I can have a haircut, and then somebody may not like something else about me. So you just have to do this for you, man. Especially when you're growing your dreadlocks like this, you got to do it for you because people ain't gonna like it. You have to like it. If you don't like it, a lot of times people try to grow their hair like this and they don't really like it. They're trying it, but they don't really like it like that. So people's opinions of them, it's easy to persuade them to not have these types of locks anymore. People with wicks or freeform obviously could care less about other folks' thoughts. You have to, man, because this is not the norm. This ain't the norm of in the lock world. So it's polarizing. I've always that's the best word I can always use to describe these types of dreadlocks. Polarizing. People really either really love them or they really hate them. So what is semi-freeform in your line of context? For people who don't really like freeform, but they want to. No, I'm just joking. Semi-freeform is, I think that it's for people who do want thick locks, but they don't want they don't want their locks coming together like this. So, they get the best of both worlds. They get the best of both worlds by maintaining them just enough to where their locks don't come together and form, 3, 4, 6, 7, 10 locks. Like, what has to be done to the hair to consider? Yeah. So yeah, it's just people who like my hair is growing. Like I said, I can use this right now, right? I got the new growth up here, right? But I don't really care about the new growth, right? So I don't want these two locks coming together, but I want them to stay thick. So I just, I keep them separated. When they start to come together, I just pull them apart. So I have these types of locks or thick locks, but I don't have this type of thick locks. 57 minutes. All right, I got about 3 more minutes, on here. So get your questions in or thoughts or whatever. I think I'm gonna stay on for, like I said, I'm gonna stay on for an hour. That'll be good. No problem. If your locks never separated and you only had one big lock, would you be cool with that? Mika was good. Um, I was ready for however my hair wanted to form because for me, so why I started doing this was because I wanted to see how my hair was going to turn out. So I am really excited or enamored by how your hair you cannot do nothing to it and it can form and transform into something completely different from how you started it. So that was always the attraction to me. So however my hair would have formed, that's how it would have formed. Now, I'm gonna sit here and be realistic with you because this is what I do. Uh, a lot of times when you have one lock, it may be hard to get to the scalp. So I'm not gonna say I wouldn't have separated it to where I can get to my scalp, but if had my hair formed into one lock and I was able to keep it clean and maintain it, then yeah, I would have been perfectly fine with that. You ever had a woman question you about your locks that you dated? People ain't crazy. Um, 9 times out of 10, women who are attracted to me, they know what it is. So they know how I am. So I mean, nah, people wouldn't do that. Sleeping has to suck with long locks. with long locks that long and thick. I know you probably pull on it a lot in your sleep. Man, I mean, I wouldn't say sleeping sucks. I really just, man, I just when I'm laying on a pillow, bro, I just put my hair back like that. I just throw it up. You know, I can lay on my back. Now you see the tips here. These tips, I lose a lot of these tips. A lot of tips in my dreads because sometimes it'll get caught under me while I'm laying down or whatever, and I'll wake up and there's like a tip this long in the bed or whatever. But other than that, man, like it's not bad. You know, I don't have the problem sleeping. And if I have a problem sleeping, I can always just wrap my hair up, or sometimes I'll tie it back with a rubber band, you know, to where I can just move it to the side. You know, I'll put it in the rubber band. I'll just, you know, move it to one side, or usually this side, you know, lay down. So I don't let it impede me too much. Yo, I asked a few lives ago, but I had to shut down before you answered. Any books you recommend to read? Need all I can get with this trucker life. I don't know if I don't like recommending books to people because the way I pick books is like it's specific to me, and I come into this knowledge of these things randomly. You know, I may be watching a documentary, or I may be doing something like that. So I randomly come into these books based off of what my interest is in this time, in this moment in time. I may be interested in mental institutions, so I'll get books based around that. I may be, you know, like, okay, so right now, because I knew somebody was going to ask me about books, so I bought a couple of the books that I'm reading. Right now, this is what I'm reading. I am reading Environment and Population, Problems of Adaptation. Now, I don't know if I would recommend this book to somebody because it's a very dry book. I'm only reading it because I am highly interested in what made me interested in this book was what I was watching about the John B. Calhoun rat experiments. And so what he did was he gave this population of rats everything that they wanted, population of mice, everything that they wanted. He built a rat utopia, right? And the mice started to separate off into these groups. They started to separate off into the mice that would fight other mice all day. They would just attack them all day, right? And you can see that the mice who would fight, you can see that they, you know, you can see because they wouldn't be missing hair, or, you know, their tails would be bitten, you know, and stuff like that, battered and bitten, because, you know, they were always in fights all the time, right? The mothers stopped caring for their young, and there was these mice called the beautiful ones. They called them the beautiful ones because they would stay out of the way. They just, you know, all they did was just groom themselves all day. They stayed high up. They stayed higher up in the rat population, right? So they just, you know, they stayed higher up. And so, but eventually the rat population all died off, even though they had everything that they wanted, right? So that made me get this book. But it doesn't really talk about that experiment specifically. It talks about various things about population control. It talks about all types of things, man. So I don't know if I would recommend this to somebody because it's very dry reading. I just happen to be interested in it because of what I was reading. But there's a lot of, I can't find it right now, so I'm not going to try to, but there's a very interesting paragraph in here about technology. And it was talking about, this was written in like the 80s, you know what I'm saying? So it's still, I like to read books a lot of times because they still apply to what's going on today. So when I see something in an old book that applies to what's going on today, you know, I find it very interesting. They were talking about technology. So even back then, they were warning people of that day not to get hooked on technology. You know, not to let technology become your brain. And then you look at today, well, you know how that goes. This is what I'm reading now also. It's called Perdurable. It's about the life of Aleister Crowley, the definitive biography. And I was interested in him randomly I have always heard his name, but I never cared to read about him. But then something struck in me, and I was like, oh, it seems interesting. Um, so that's what I'm reading now, combined with the other book. I haven't really gotten to this book yet. I'm only a few pages in. I just recently got it. Oh, this phone is about to die. Okay, so let me get some more questions. Let me. So, but yeah, to answer your question, I know I rambled a good bit and I went off and I didn't really answer your question. So, those are the two books. Now, again, they're very dry reading. Now, if I have to suggest you a book, right? If you want, I think that people will get into this book. It's called The State Boys Rebellion. That was, I think that's a real good book. I think it will keep you interested because you will find out a lot of historical things that you ain't never know about in that book. So you want to get a book. If I had to recommend you a book, get The State Boys Rebellion. Hey, just wanted to say God bless and stay healthy and stay natty. Thank you. God bless you as well. Ash Clouds. Asa Clouds. How does one embrace the ugly stage? I think you have to know why you are doing this, right? So it has to be in you. That's why I may make a video on this. Freeforming, where people kind of skip over. I don't know. I don't say they skip over it. I think they don't realize it. It's that it's also a mindset before it manifests into your actual hair. Because you have to have a mindset that I want my hair like this, and I know what's gonna come with it. I know people gonna, give me looks, but how do I feel about this? So just like with anything, though, right? You might want to be something in your, a career path, right? And people may be telling you, nah, bruh, that ain't it. And sometimes, you know what? That career path is gonna get hard, bruh. There's gonna be times where you like, man, I don't know if this is for me, man. It's some hard work, But then you gotta say, wait, I want to do this. This is who I am. So whether it be music, whether it be some other occupation, if it's in you, it's in you. This is who you are. So then you don't care about it. None of that stuff matters. Like how you look, what other people think, none of that stuff matters because you know what I'm saying, what you know what you're doing. So hey, you don't think about it. You get through it because it's you. It's who you are. That book sounds like life for us humans. Yes. I have two locks upon my head, and they are often met with disdain. I am thus forced to adopt a thick skin with disregard. Yes. See? You have to, because people are gonna say what they're gonna say. You know what I mean? I've had a lot of I've had my fair share. I can also say that I've gotten more good comments than bad, but I mean, it just comes to territory. Like people talk about my hair, I just move on, man. There is no other stage, to be honest. Deep, much appreciated. All right, I'm gonna scroll up, make sure I ain't mix no questions. Other than that, I'm about to log off, man. Again, unless somebody got any more questions or thoughts, give y'all about 2-3 more minutes just to ask anything. 5 minutes. I'll give a 5-minute grace period. Nah, there's an ugly stage, bro. There's just some that love it, and most who who don't. Listen, some people. Now the ugly stage thing is. I said this. I made a video about this. The ugly stage of locks like this is the reflection that you have to face, and that's not you have to. What I mean by that is you have to come to the realization of, do I like this or not? A lot of people think that they're gonna find themselves when they grow locks like this. They're going to become more aware. all these things. It sounds good, but at the end of the day, when you look in the mirror, are you happy? Right? Are you happy with the way you look? So a lot of times people are not happy with the way they look. That's the ugly stage. You come into grips and having to say, you know what, I really don't like these locks on me. You may like them. You may like the idea of them, but do you like them on you? Can you walk around public with your hair like this and not worry about if anybody's looking at you? That's the ugly stage. The other stage is your reflection of you having to face those things. Thrilled, thrill, and serenity. Hi, Johnny. I appreciate your videos. I am a female freeformer. I chose the freeform route simply because I truly love the look of freeform locks. I find most don't understand that and wonder why. It's listen, man. It's probably 5 or 10 more times harder for women to freeform because they have a lot of other things going against them as far as that goes, as far as those standards go. So when women are able to freeform, man, I try to encourage it as much as possible. If they're in my vicinity, or whether it be in person or I've never met a woman freeform in person. I don't think. Yes, I have. But I try to encourage them either way because I know it takes a lot for women. I know it takes a lot for them to freeform and to take that step. So, what I love about freeform dreadlocks is that it gives you a chance to have a look that is unique to you. Yes. People have been watching my channel for a while now. So, but I don't. If I don't show my face, right, and you just see my locks, you know who those locks belong to. Just like anybody else. You can see now. There's other YouTubers as well. Like you can look at their hair and not even see their face. Just look at it from the back and be like, oh, I know whose locks those are. Because it's unique to them. You know those locks. I'm semi. One day I will be free. Mystical lady. I am not happy with people verbally attacking my locks. That is a form of violence to me. The ugly stage means you are still not free. The ugly stage thing, man, it's so hard. I just let people call it that because everybody has a different opinion on it, and it's so. And I don't want to tell people who think that they have an ugly stage that they don't. Because I don't. That's what you think about your hair. That's what you're gonna call it. I'm not here to change that because people gonna think what they're gonna think. What I'm saying? That's an internal thing how that person feels. I've never felt like I personally had one. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. If somebody said, "Hey, how do you feel about your ugly stage?" and I would tell them what I just told y'all. Like, I don't really have an ugly stage, but there is a ugly stage again, and that ugly stage is facing. You have to face what you actually feel about trying to grow your hair like this, or feel about those locks in general. But it never came across my mind when I was growing my hair in the early stages that I was in a ugly stage. I just call them the early stages of having locks. That's just what it was. So. A very valid point. Women who choose to freeform may experience rather difficult circumstances. Yeah, man, women got it. Because even if people don't like my hair, they don't question they'll question my cleanliness and stuff like that. But when women freeform, like truly freeform, they're looked at with what we get as men plus, oh, she is trying to be masculine, or that looks too masculine on her. So their femininity gets questioned as well. Like my masculinity or my manhood or whatever you want to call it doesn't get questioned because I have this, but for women, that gets questioned for them. It too shall pass, the ugly stage. Yeah, it takes patience, man. I always tell people just forget about your hair. When you're in the early stages, just forget about it. Don't worry about it other than you taking care of your hair. And watch how fast things, like, it's gonna float, man. It's gonna go by faster than what you think it is. Personally, for me, I don't believe in a ugly stage in freeform dreadlocks. I don't think you should just. I think you should just enjoy the journey. But that's just me. We have to love ourselves, absolutely. Listen. But it's easy for me. It's easy for a lot of people though who are trying to grow their hair like this. Is not. It's not. It's just not that cut and dry. I'm sure they wish it was. I wish it was for them, but just the reality of it, it's just not. So that's just what it is for them. I get hate from women who wear relaxers. The longer it gets worse. It's crazy patience, and this is my second journey. So I am aware of this, and it's still hard at times to be patient. Hey, it just might not be for you. But I always tell people, try it out. If that's what you want to do, try it out. And if you got to be honest with yourself, like, you have to know when it's not for you. And I think that a lot of times people, when it's not for them, they keep trying to force it because they really do like the idea of having these types of dreadlocks. They want it, but like, if a lot of people, if they can just magically put a set of thick dreadlocks on their head without it growing and not having to be patient and wait for it, they would, but they can't. And so you have to go through all the changes, and a lot of people don't really have the patience for that. You just have to come to grips with it and be honest with yourself about it, being for you or not. That's all. I stand corrected, but I think in every 10 locks, only one is free-formed. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by, like, 1 in 10 people, or, like, what do you mean? Okay. Oh, okay. So 1 in 10 people who are locked are free-formed. Yeah, I mean, because it is catching more now, but even with it catching, a lot of people who title themselves freeform or title their videos freeform, they're not freeform. You know what I mean? But it's just the word. It's hot right now, man. It's hot right now, and it's freeform is like, it became a tidal wave over the last 2 to 3 years. So everybody want a piece of the pie right now, but a lot of people not ready to bake the pie. They're not willing to wait. You know what I mean? They just want it. They want to go to the bakery and get it. So that's where it's at right now. It's like every trend is gonna probably die down at some point. I don't know when, but at some point, people are gonna move on to something else, and then the people who actually done it will remain. All right, I'm gonna log off for real this time, unless I got any more questions. But other than that, that's all I have for tonight. I definitely appreciate the people who came to talk, share energy with through words, conversation. I always appreciate that. Yes, have a good night as well. Other than that, I'm gonna log off, and thanks all who came to watch. Have a good night. All right. Well, let me see how I turn this off first. Let me see. I think that's how I do it. Are you sure? Yes.